Hello, all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms players out there. This is Dragothien here. Today I'm going to do a guide on a question that I get all the time. It's, hey, we're late in the game. You know, should I continue to max out these legendary Season 1 commanders? Should I max out my Mina, my VIP commanders? Should I max out the free commanders that I get? You know, things like that. So I wanted to do a quick video as a guide to folks who don't have a whole lot of legendary sculptures to put into commanders, especially to keep up with how quickly they come out as you start the game into the season of conquest. All the way in between, commanders start rapid fire coming out because you're sped along the seasons process to get to the conquest season. So I want to make sure you guys understood who I think is worth it to max from season 1 and before. So that's going to be 2 Wheel of Fortunes. That's Richard and YSG. That's going to be all the gold key commanders that are fighting. Okay, this is a fighting one. I'm not talking about, you know, Ishida and Sundiak and Cleopatra and things like that. That's not what this video is about, okay? We're talking about fighting legendary commanders, season 1, should you max them, which means they're worth it, which is above me. In the middle, it's, you don't have to max them, but you should have them unlocked and have at least a few skills in them, and I'll talk about what that should look like. And then at the far right side, you'll see leave it, which means just unlock them, get the Writer of History bundle, and move on about your life, okay? And there will be some commanders in there that, you know, you can max them by all means, and obviously as time goes on with your count, you'll be able to max them through the gold tavern, the gold key tavern. But again, it's going to take a long time. There's a ton of videos on this channel on how many gold keys it takes to max a legendary commander in the gold key tavern. It's a lot, you know, spoiler alert, it's a lot. So wanted to give you a guide on how to be very careful with your legendary sculptures. If you decide to use some universals on these guys, I personally would recommend, again, efficiency wise, only using gold keys, but sometimes you need what you need, right? So let's go ahead and focus on what we've got here, and we'll go ahead and get started. So I've also added Ragnar in because he is a gold key commander. And if you're starting the game now, you can effectively get him just like any other gold key commander, like Charles or Richard, or I'm sorry, Charles or Freddie or El Cid or Mehmed or whoever, right? So I wanted to add him in here too. I think personally, if I had to take my pick on which category I would put him in, he does have some value, but it's not, especially towards the late game, you really don't see him being used in the late game. So for right now, I would actually leave it. I'm gonna put him in the leave it column, even though he's probably one of my favorite commanders Viking wise. You know, we've got a little Viking thing going on this channel. It's still, you know, realistically, his first skill is amazing, guys. His first skill is really good, but then everything else is just blah leadership stuff. So not really that great. Now Mulan, you can get away with putting in the kinda column. You want to have that first skill maxed out for sure. Also, her last skill is really important as well. But if you want to use her end game as a main buffer, things like that, you would eventually want to max her out. But again, just use gold keys. Don't rush it kind of universal wise. You don't really need to bust universals inside to use Mulan here. Just get the gold keys, get the dailies, and move on about your day there. She's really good. She's a late game buffer. She's a must-have in the open field for any main army group that we're talking about, but ultimately, kinda is where I would put her. Richard is next. I've got all the, by the way, I've got all of those commanders that we're going to be doing on the right side here. I've got them all lined up, ready to get judged and placed where they belong. Richard, we're going to go ahead and put in the kind of column as well. And again, that's strictly because you can get away with him being used 5-5-1-1, and as the game progresses, you just start to run out of spots to put Richard in your 5 army group. So when you're getting Guan, you can have him 5-1-1-1, Alex 5-5-1-1, you know, and just you're gonna want to have, if you want best in slot kind of commanders in your open field pairings, you can kind of really start to replace Richard a little bit. He's a great tank. If you need tankiness, Richard is your guy, but you can kind of get away with 5-5-1-1. The other skills do make him really nice as well, but just not that much better compared to what's out there once you get to Season of Conquest. Especially, there are so much better commanders out there to be putting on the battlefield. Next up, we've got YSG. YSG. You guys know the answer to this one. The answer is always YSG. Worth it. So worth it. He's still used endgame. He's still just that good. He's the second wheel that you get whenever you start a brand new account in Rise of Kingdoms. And most people will save every gem they've got from the start of the game until the YSG wheel comes out, with the exception of unlocking Richard. Once you've unlocked Richard, stop spending on Richard, and then save everything up until you get YSG so you can spin all 3 wheels of YSG. You want to max him as quickly as possible. He is that devastating on the field. You just got to have him. You just got to have him. He's still the best, in my opinion, legendary commander in the game, and you get him so early. All right, let's go to Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar, I'm going to put in the leave it column. And the reason being, again, you just don't use him after the first KVK, really. If you're using him, it's because you don't have a whole lot of extra other commanders maxed out. I would take a max Sun Tzu over Julius Caesar 5511 or maxed out. I would take Bjorn over Julius Caesar. I would take a maxed Scipio versus a 5511 Julius Caesar, that kind of thing. I would throw a Joan in my march before I would throw Caesar in there. He's good, don't get me wrong, especially very early game leading up to and including KVK Season 1. But after that, he falls off big time, okay? Mehmed. He's in the kinda column. You kind of want to work on him a little bit. And again, reason being, he's got a great AoE skill. He's excellent in Canyon. And if you can get his first and last skills really high, especially first skill maxed, but last skill really high, the troop capacity bonus that he provides, along with the damage AoE that he does, and even his second skill providing a skill damage bonus, are all really good for everybody from free to play all the way up to spenders. And again, I see top tier players using Mehmed as part of their top 10 pairings in Canyon for Lost and for Sunset Canyon. So kind of still relevant for Mehmed. I would definitely put him in that column. Minna. You can only buy him, okay? So, you know, kind of keep this in mind. This is I've done Minna and I've done Barca as well in this list, because if you're going to get up to the VIP level, at least I wanted to give you the option on if you should spend to get those chests that unlock the commanders and then ultimately max him. To me, Minna is still a worth it commander. I don't understand all the judgment on Minna. He just does so many things really well. He pumps out a ton of damage. You can hide him behind a tanky commander, or you can hide him behind another top tier commander, and he just pumps out damage. He absolutely pumps it out. His force skill enhancing the damage of everything. I mean, his expertise is amazing. He's a great all-around peacekeeping commander. I mean, he does everything really well. He's not YSG level. Let's rein it back in a little bit, but he's still definitely worth it, and one of the least expensive commanders to max in the game when it comes to getting a legendary commander all ready to rock and roll for you. So I would put him in the worth it category. El Cid. You know, El Cid's kind of interesting. He's got late game application. Believe it or not, I gotta put him in the kinda category. He's still really good. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's been joked around as being the least effective legendary commander in the game, including on this channel by me. But the thing is this. So in Ark of Osiris, in KVK, you need control. And El Cid does control. He's got that primary skill that allows you to control your target. He also has some extra bonuses to damage on his fourth skill. He's also got extra skill damage coming out for his second skill. And he makes archers faster too, which archers are kind of becoming the open field meta if they haven't already done so. Now we've also got XY and Chandra and you know, William and commanders like that for Cav, but archers look really good, right? You got Artemisia, Tamiris, Ramses, you've got Nebu, you've got Cyrus, you've got YSG, you got all these archer commanders that are so devastating on the field. Having an El Cid to lead one of those marches, not half bad, and you can get away with like 5511. You would kind of love to get 5515 at least before you max him out, but again, he would be a good one to go ahead and get maxed eventually. but maybe not rush him, which is kind of where I have this kind of column at. Let's talk about Frederick the First. I'm going to say leave it. And this is from a year and a half of using him as part of a main group. So Freddy does pump out some damage, and he has a heal, and he has troop capacity, which is decent. But he has absolutely no stats. And with equipment being a thing in this game, stats are so relevant to fighting, so relevant. And you're starting to see a trend here, by the way. The worth it folks are the ones that provide heavy stats, heavy damage, and are easy to max. Kinda is heavy stats, decent damage, but aren't quite top tier. Leave it are almost all leadership commanders, because most leadership commanders, their stats are extra troop capacity. And while that's nice, that's temporary, right? And it's static. It's not dynamic. The 10% is 10% or 15% all the time. It doesn't grow based on the size of your march. So with that being said, it's kind of static. And after KBK 1, the leadership style commanders, they just tend to start losing value as you get into Season of Conquest, and certainly even in KBK 2 and KBK 3. So Freddy, while he does do some decent damage, he has one of the top number-wise damage factors in the game when it comes to damage. That's basically it. His heal fires off every once in a while, and his troop capacity is there, but it goes away very quickly because he has no defense stats. He has no health stats. He doesn't have anything to mitigate damage. There's no damage reductions. There's no augmentation. There's no control. There's nothing. He's just raw damage and a heal. That's it. And that goes away. The effectiveness of that goes away very quickly. I'm going to put Charles as a kind of. And the reason I'm saying this is because he's so usable at 5511. Of all the kindas that I've got here, I think Charles so far is the one that I would max first in the kinda column, just because he's so usable across the field. He's great in Canyon. He's great as a garrison commander in your city, especially if you have a low amount of troops. He's great in the open field. He's great to augment skill damage as a primary. He's great for tankiness with his shield. He just doesn't have the same things maybe an Alex has, which is your next set of infantry commanders after Season 1. So he's in the kind of column, 5511. You're in really good shape. You can use him on the field, but I would focus him after you get your full worth it commanders done. If you haven't gotten your Charles maxed, get him maxed, get him moved on. And again, primarily efficiency wise, you want to use gold keys for that, which you can't really dictate what you get from gold keys, but you understand what I'm saying. More valuable than all the rest. Ethelfled, definitely worth it, just because, again, ease of ability to do it, and she's free. She's free. She's one of the only free legendary commanders in the game to max out. In fact, are there any other free legendary commanders that you can max out besides Ethelfled? I don't think so. Not that I can see. I mean, there's some free to get, but there's not free to max unless you use gold keys the whole time, which for some of us, that are impatient, that can be a little tough. But Ethelfled is the freest, and you can get her maxed out, especially when you're first starting out in the game. I'd say maybe 2 months or so, 2-3 months is probably the speediest. You'll want to probably get her maxed out. Just get as high as you can in the expedition, and go to town. Get her chests. Get her daily stuff that you get from her, and you'll eventually get her maxed. And she's usable end game. She's usable in some very top tier pairings in end game. She will be usable throughout the career you will have inside of Rock. Barca. I'm going to put him in the leave it column, and I will caveat it by saying this. He's got a great first skill. His first skill is a great debuff. It's AoE damage, although it's a very small amount of damage. And he does have some damage augmentation abilities with different troop types. He does have a troop capacity bonus. But ultimately, for what you're going to spend on him, and again, the ability to use as you get older into this game, the ability to use more and more commanders available to you, like, again, those Nebus, those XYs, those Williams, those Saladins, those Alexes. And again, he's a leadership commander. You're not getting stats, guys. You're not really getting many stats. Now, of the leadership commanders, I like Barca probably second best to Ragnar, just because he does have some damage augmentation stuff. Again, with multiple troop types, also with what type of scenario you're in, if you're on the map, if you're on territory, things like that. He does have stuff like that, which does make him more valuable than, say, a Frederick or a Julius, in my opinion. So I would put probably Ragnar 1, Barca 2, and then maybe Freddy 3 and Julius 4. But even then, like, they're kind of like, just go away. Just go away. But finally, let's talk about Double C. Got Xiao Xiao. I'm not sure if I said that right. I've been trying to say it for 3 years correctly. I probably didn't. I would put him in the kind of category. As I have... Let's make him a little taller. What do you think? Make him just a smidge taller. He looks like a Stumpy next to Charles. I'm going to put him in the kind of column. Reason being, his first skill is really good. He's got peacekeeping capabilities just like Minna does, but he doesn't have the extra stuff besides attack. He has absolutely no defense. In fact, he reduces your own defense with his expertise. So as the game, again, has trended more towards being heavy defense, heavy health type battles, to me, Double C has lost some value basically since the equipment system came out. He used to be your best secondary commander to Minna. He used to be a great secondary to Saladin, to Genghis, and he still is, don't get me wrong. But once you get access to Takeda, once you get access to William, once you get access, again, to Saladin, once you get access to XY, once you get access to the later game Cav commanders, Double C just starts to take a back seat. He's just not as up-to-date as the newer commanders. The newer commanders are giving 40 and 80% defense and attack and damage augmentation and higher damage numbers and no defense reduction. And it's all stacking up to be Double C just kind of getting outdated. So he's kind of okay to have, but just slow play him. And again, that's my recommendation. So really, again, from season 1 stuff to now, where I've got all my accounts basically in Season of Conquest Kingdoms at this point, really the only 3 that you want to really make sure that you've got maxed in your repertoire to be able to use whenever are YSG, Minna, and Ethelfled. Ethelfled being very easy to do because she's your expedition shop commander. And Minna, if you've got VIP 10, you can max him out too by buying the bundles on the VIP, and you're going to be good to go there. And then YSG being your second wheel commander that comes out whenever you start the game. And ultimately, again, YSG is one of the best, if not top 3 best legendary commanders still in the game, even with all the commanders that have come out since he was introduced. He's that good. Yeah, that's it. I like the list. I think that we're pretty spot on here, guys. If you have any advice, investment tips that I haven't gone over, if you agree, disagree, looking at me sideways, whatever, throw a comment in the comment section below. We are a sponsored content creation channel for Rise of Kingdoms, so make sure that you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification, throw some support our way. It is free. And yeah, that's it. Let's go ahead and have a good day. I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy, take care, all those good things. I'll see y'all next time. Have a good one.